Ready to roll? Hey, everybody, welcome to the March 26th special board meeting of Calvert County Water District. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Director Cicada?
Here.
Director Thomas?
I'm here.
Director Ratterman?
Here.
Director Underhill?
Yeah.
President Davidson?
I'm here as well. Item number 2 is public comment. This time, members of the public may address the board on any non-agendized item. The public is encouraged to work through staff, place items on the agenda for board consideration. No action can be taken on matters not listed on the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Is there any public comment today? Anybody online? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Following items are expected to be routine, non-controversial items to be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member may request that an item be removed for later discussion. 3A, approval of minutes of the board meeting March 12th. 3B, report on monthly investment transactions for February. 3C, approving district's financial management policy. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. We'll move on to new business discussion direction regarding determination of process for appointment of a board seat, District 3. Who's handling that, Matt?
So I'll handle that, yeah.
All right, thank you.
So Bertha, did you want to speak first?
Yeah.
You look like you had something to say, so.
I'm a little confused. I don't know how much service I have, 21 or 23 years.
I have no idea.
Does it affect your pension?
Yeah.
Yeah.
19? Then all of our paperwork is in error. Okay, regardless. Effective April 30th, is that what it is? Effective April 30th, I submit my resignation from the CCWD board after I don't know how many years.
It's somewhere between 19 and 23.
It says the 29th on the paperwork. Is that better?
Yeah, well, we don't know, so it's not important.
Okay.
What's important is that I'm getting married. And
Yeah, you're right.
I'm moving out of District 3 into District 1, so Russ, look out. I think it's Russ.
4.
Oh,
4.
oh,
District 1?
I don't know.
Welcome.
Angels
can't be
I don't know. I'm just leaving. I will be marrying an Angels Camp guy who's been here in Calaveras County for 45 years. So I will be a sheep herder. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that?
No.
He has sheep to keep the grass down because of fire, and that's, you know, it's got some acreage out across from the fairgrounds. And because I will be leaving, I've been actively soliciting a replacement, and I hope that his paperwork comes through and everything. Should I be here for the last meeting for the interviews? No, huh?
No, you cannot participate.
No, I cannot. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Then I won't be.
Okay.
My
Can you,
move
hold
is,
on, can she attend the meeting but not?
She can,
Participate.
so she cannot, the government code section provides that the remaining directors, should you so choose to appoint somebody. So Bertha cannot participate in choosing the replacement person.
Okay.
She can be at the
You can
meeting.
be at the meeting.
Yes, but she
but keep
can't.
yourself from that.
Yes, you should have.
Prior to that, we'll be doing interviews in that same meeting also. Will
If-
Bertha be helping with the
Let
interview?
No.
get to the, let her finish her statement.
Let her finish and I'll go over
All
the
right,
process.
Nuts and bolts.
so, all of that says I'm leaving, and I won't cry this time. I won't cry probably until my last.
You got it over under on that. You get that pool started right away.
So, my last 20 years, guys, have been the most pleasurable of my life.
That's not over yet.
Oh, it's not. So, I'm gone. And, but I'll finish up with you on whatever you need me to do.
All right.
I turned in my, laptop and I turned in my,
Was it still?
Policy.
You have 2 meetings left, right? 2 meetings left.
3.
3, okay.
I have the finance committee. And then I have the first and second meeting in April.
Okay. All right. Is that it?
Okay, and I love all of you.
We love
We're gonna
you.
miss you.
You're gonna be missed.
Matt, what's the process?
Okay, so as Director Underhill indicated, she will be stepping down, which will create a vacancy. And now that you have notice of the vacancy, you have a choice. You can, and we've gone through this a couple times, you can call for an election, but then we would have to fund the cost of the election. It wouldn't match up with any general election, and in the past, it's not really been a viable choice, but you do have that choice. You can do nothing and let the Board of Supervisors appoint somebody, which again, it's not likely a viable choice, but the real choice would be you can appoint somebody. And so we can call for, we have to post it for at least 15 days, call for applications for people who are interested in being appointed. Those people submit their applications, and then the board has a right to interview those people in an open meeting, and then appoint either at that meeting or a different meeting. And so that's kind of the process. We've laid out some timelines in the agenda item, recommending posting notice starting on April 2nd. And that would give your 15 days would run by the 17th and have everybody submit by the 18th.
What's the balance of Bertha's term?
The 1 point, year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
And
person,
so if we appoint, then it'll be for a year and a half, and then
Yeah.
they'll have to run. for
they would have to
election.
run.
In the normal
Yes.
reelection.
They're
cycle.
just going to finish, you're appointing for the rest of her term.
Yeah, a
so-
special election will probably, independent special election would probably be close to 100 grand.
Yeah, in the past, when we've looked at it, it's because we have to fund everything and getting the mailers.
Because it would be an independent.
It'd be the only thing
We
going.
bear all the costs instead of. a
Correct.
portion.
Which is why, one of the reasons we actually moved our election to line up with the
Right.
regular elections to save money. And so it just, for that year and a half, it wouldn't make sense.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I do.
I do.
Where are the postings posted? I know we have on the website and it looks great. Any other places, like public places, so people who don't go
Yeah.
online?
We have to do 3 public places in her district. So it'll probably be the post office. I'm gonna have Kelly look at the best places to put them up there.
Okay, cool. And they have to.
I'm thinking
by
like
the-
bumper stickers on our service
Yeah.
trucks.
If we're trying to.
Would you like to be in charge of this?
And then, as reading material, board members are encouraged to submit proposed interview questions to the board clerk, at which the GM will look at the final interview questions. Why is that? Why can't we just say, I mean, obviously there's things you can't say, we should know, but.
Usually we try to make sure the questions are the same to each person.
Okay,
So to make it even.
okay,
That's
It's a good idea to at least have say we can come up with 10 questions
Yeah.
that we agree that we want to ask, but you can always follow up.
Yeah, and and you can have I mean, the conversation kind of happens sometimes, but we want to make it even, give everybody the same.
same
Question,
questions, that makes sense.
That's how we do it.
And I assume that we'll have to kind of, as a board, I mean, if you guys, everybody wants to come up with 3 or 4 questions, get that to Rebecca, and then Rebecca can get back with me, or we can determine at one point what the final list will be. And then if we can agree on that, then we'll go forward with that. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Scott?
Okay, yeah, we do. So we do have 2 other meetings between now and then that you will be participating in. Could we get that email out to each of us asking for our questions? We could probably decide right here how many questions, and I agree, each person that's being interviewed has to be asked the same question.
Right.
So we could talk right here, right now, how many questions do we want to have?
10.
10? That's a day's work.
Compromise,
That's,
8.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say
Five.
5. 5 is
Well,
plenty.
that probably is too little,
Okay,
but that's what I say, compromise.
No more than,
Too much.
no fewer than 5, no more than 10.
Perfect.
We'll just
Okay,
see what,
we like
see
that.
what we get.
okay.
I like that.
Okay, and then we'll have time. I'd like to get these questions in to you before our next meeting, if we could. And then discuss those questions in we
At the next.
discuss what those questions are gonna be in an open meeting. In these next 2 meetings. I guess it doesn't have to be by the 6th. What's the next meeting after that? The 19th or something?
I'm sure we
The
can.
23rd. So we got the
Couple
9th and the
questions.
23rd. So by
Let's
the, on the, between now and the, say the April 15th, let's decide what those questions are and then discuss them on the 23rd.
Well, you don't want to discuss them at the next meeting?
That's the 6th. That's just around the corner.
Okay.
That might not be enough time to even,
If we need to seat somebody, and we don't need to seat somebody right away, but if we can, it would be great to seat somebody by the next regular board meeting, which is when, and.
May.
wait, I don't think we can until
Hold
the
on,
30th.
this is a mess.
So the next board
Oh,
meeting
I'm
would be the
saying-
May 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May
Yeah, that
14th
would
is
be-
what I'm talking.
We could seat them the day we do the interviews. We could do the interviews and make a motion,
I
which
think
we've done
there's,
before.
there's-
I was seated
You were, yeah.
based on an appointment, and that's the way we handled it that day. You were on the board at that
That's how
point in time. But it doesn't have to be that way. I'm not sure how we did, who replaced Terry?
No, I think Russ replaced Director Mills.
Oh,
Was
okay,
appointed.
that's right, that's right.
Mine was election.
And did we do it the same day? Did
Yeah.
we get interviewed and sat the same day, Russ? I wasn't here. You were here then
No,
too.
it was noticed afterwards.
I think,
But I want to correct something that our regular board meeting ordinarily would be on the 14th of May, but it's not because of the Aqua Conference.
right.
So
oh, well, I would say let's try and be prepared to seat them at that first meeting in May.
In May.
if we can.
It's not on the 30th, not the day we do the interviews?
No,
Yeah, we should think about it.
We wanted to give you guys the option to
Right.
do the interviews and appoint on the 30th if you so,
Choose.
choose. The problem with waiting till May is we're not going to have all 4 directors the entire month of May, correct, Cindy?
Correct.
So we would have to then, if we wanted everybody's input, we'd have to wait until June.
I won't be available
And
for
then-
May 12th.
When
oh wait, that
when does
makes,
this fall to the supervisor? What's the
No.
date that we got?
You have, I think it's 90 days. Yeah.
We
You don't
we
want to do
to
that.
happen,
You don't
no.
want.
No, you won't trigger that.
have we decided to move that May meeting up or back?
Up, I think, didn't we?
Have we made
To
it
accommodate
Cindy
like
will-
10, yeah.
Cindy will be available at that meeting.
May 7th?
May 7th?
And I would suggest this, on the 30th, is that gonna be our, is the 30th our last?
It's a special board meeting.
But,
They're the staff's proposing a special board meeting.
Hear me out. So we can agendize it as such, but I mean, I think it's gonna be a little uncomfortable to have 4, maybe there's 4 people in the room and say, I'm sorry, 3 of you have to leave.
Yeah.
I would prefer to make a decision and then have the one person that we're going to appoint show up and then we can have them swear in. I think that'd be a better way to do it. But if we all agree on 30th, we can agendize it as such, but
Mhm.
also leave a spot open for the 7th. So if we, because it could be 2 and 2. I
I'm
mean,
good to set up.
you know, there
Right.
is that option that we can't decide.
Correct.
So I think we should agendize it 2 times with our goal being to appoint by the 7th. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah. I'm wondering, do we have any applications already? Anybody interested that we know of?
We haven't.
Okay.
Posted it.
Oh.
The information is on the website, but we haven't asked for
Okay.
submittals yet.
Okay.
Does that sound like an acceptable timeline to everybody?
good plan.
I'm good.
We definitely have a meeting on the 7th. That the 14th has already been changed, Becca?
Not officially, no.
Okay, so I have 3 meetings left, right? I have my finance,
And then the 2 April.
the 9th and the 23rd. And then the 30th.
I Yes, I think, or unless, I think it was the 29th that was, we anticipated would be your last day,
Okay.
is when your seat would go vacant.
Oh,
on the
okay.
29th.
So I'm not,
You can't, you couldn't, it's a special meeting and you couldn't participate because the only thing on the agenda would be interviewing people for your replacement.
Right,
So
right. Uh-huh.
you can't participate in that.
okay, okay.
One other thing that we should discuss is, as a courtesy, when I was being interviewed, there was three of us being, and you can't kick someone out of a public meeting. You cannot ask the other two. So whoever goes first is going to have a disadvantage over the other two if the other two decide to sit in the room. If we do have three people and all three of us are in the room, and we have our questions we're going to ask them, the second and third person would have a little bit of an advantage of hearing the questions and thinking about them and being more prepared if they decide. But what we did when I was interviewed, we agreed, the other two of us agreed to go out of the room while the first one was being interviewed, and then one person would came back in, and we always had two people away, not
We
listening.
ask them that.
So, yeah, just saying that's gonna come up. That's gonna, to try and even the playing field. It's something that they can decide one way or the other. It'll be, we'll be dealing with it.
Okay.
All right,
That's that one.
I just want to have one comment to make, is that the two of the five of us were arrived on the board by that process, that selection process, not the election. And I have to say that of the 7 or so people that applied, when I applied, if I had been passed over, there were some excellent other people that applied.
We've thought about that a
Yeah,
lot.
But I, of course, rose to the top, so by payoffs or something. No, it's a good process, and wouldn't you agree that it was done fairly and to the benefit?
Yeah, just a little history, when there was a motion before me, there was another motion, someone made a motion to, someone made a motion to propose one of the other candidates that I was interviewing against, that, but it didn't get a second. It died without a
Before you
second.
got interviewed? or
That was after we were interviewed.
Okay.
We're back in the room. And then the second motion came up and it got a second. We voted and I took my seat right then. I mean, it was, that's how that went. Everyone was in the room when we did it, but we have 2 more meetings to discuss this. Can we have this as something as a pass by? I mean, on our 4A for the next, or old business, whatever, for the next couple of meetings? Just to discuss it a little, just to refine it.
Get
Think about it.
updates on. if
Think
you have
about how we're gonna do it. We get updates on what's going on with it.
Just do your best to
An
get a
update
handful
on-
of questions in,
Yeah, and get
3 or
it.
4 questions, and then we'll, at our next meeting, we'll
And
select
we
them.
can't do a respond all. We'll just send them all to Becca. She'll put them together. Yeah. Okay.
I just, yeah.
Don't send them to each other. Don't,
We'll
Yes.
also have time to decide how many we want at that time.
Yeah.
don't send your questions to other directors.
Yeah, right.
Everything goes to Becca.
I just want to point out the financial consideration, unquantified savings. That's special, isn't it?
That's might be why it's
All right, are we good with that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Okay, we'll move on to 4B, discussion action regarding accepting the proposal for construction services on the Douds fuel break project. Damon. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even think about that.
Public
We didn't-
comment backup.
Do you have a comment? Public
No.
comment?
You don't live in the right district, by the way.
That's okay.
Mike Castavell Springs. That was one of the questions.
Mhm.
Being that it's an appointed position for 1.5 years, if you don't get a candidate out of Ebbetts Pass, what's your options? Okay, that's what I wanted to ask on that. And I'm gonna make a recommendation to you also that, say you have 3 candidates, you can interview them all at the same time. Candidate 1, what's your answer? What's your answer to question 1? Number 2, what's your answer? Number 3, what's your answer? Question number 2, you choose somebody else to go first, but you just line them up side by side and they all answer, so they won't have an advantage to answering the questions and being able to think for a period of time. And that might take care of the problem. Just a thought and recommendation. That's how I have seen a lot of, like when the cities that I operated in, they've had 3 mayoral candidates and they have to sit down and answer questions one after the other. Same exact questions, and it's helpful to people and it's helpful to the people that are questioning. Okay, as I said, I was just curious, what are your options if you don't get a candidate seat?
I believe Matt mentioned that earlier. If we can't come to a conclusion, we either go, we can choose to have an election, which will cost us $100,000 or so, or the Board of Supervisors will appoint after 90 days.
Yeah.
Those are the options.
Cannot choose somebody out of
No.
another district.
You can't, you have to live in the district.
We've had boards in this county go with 4 members when it's a 5-member board for longer than a year. And the Board of Supervisors just decided not to act on it. That district would take care of itself. CPUD students, they've had 4 members for 6-8 months at a time. And then eventually someone was interested in it.
Okay, I appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff, I have one more question. Is it possible to give the candidates the questions ahead of time in writing for them to respond?
We can do whatever, we want. I think everyone think of their ideas, get your questions in. Once we get the questions, we'll figure out the format. We'll go from there.
Okay.
I like that. That gives us, it does. We have two more meetings to
Right.
discuss the same exact thing.
Correct.
Hi, Damon.
Okay, sorry about that. Any other public comment? Anybody online? Sorry about that, guys. Go ahead, Damon.
Good afternoon, directors. So it's a positive agenda item for y'all. So the Callahan team you may be familiar with, they secure grant funds for fuel finish projects for strategic fuel breaks up and down our watersheds, of which we're a member of 3 watersheds. And so this agenda item for you is the Douds fuel break project. So this was Callahan secured $393,000 in grant funds and worked with CCWD to so that we became a fiscal agent, the grantee, so that we can administer payment of these funds. And so they designated this project, which is up off of Love Creek, kind of between the McKay's Road and the North Fork at Stanislaus. It's 142 acres, 23 parcels of private property bounded by U.S. Forest Service land on the east and the south, and STI property on the west and the north. So there's 13 residents in this area. The Callahan team went and secured rights of entry for all of this work. So that has already been secured, and we went ahead and put a request for a proposal to do the actual mastication phase its fuels break. We have 6 proposals. One of the most highly rated was Alpine Timber LLC specifically, and they also happen to have the lowest bid, which is $281,000 and some change. There's $325,000 that's still left in this grant. So the ask is that you all go ahead and approve, recommend adopting a resolution to accept their proposal, Alpine Timber's proposal, and authorize the GM to enter into a construction services agreement with them.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any public discussion? Pat, do you want to speak to it or just that? You're a wise man. I've seen people talk themselves out of things here.
I do want to acknowledge Haley Dillashaw and Pat Brady are here.
Oh, I just want to thank Pat for all the hard work over all the years. He just kind of works in the background, but has done some amazing things. Thank you very much. Hats off to you.
Yeah, we've been talking about how long Pat's been coming in, loving the board of directors.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
A lot of love going on here today.
yeah, we have a lot of appreciation for you, Pat. Thank you. Okay, is there any public comment? Okay, please call roll.
Director Cicada,
Yes.
Director Thomas,
Yes.
Director Retterman,
Yes.
Director Underhill,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes. Thank you again, Pat.
Thank you, Pat, for all your years.
I'm sorry, who are you with today? Well, thank you very much as well, Haley. Appreciate it.
And I do want to say that Haley and Pat have worked really well with CCWD, and I think we've developed kind of a course of action with our work efforts. And so we had a conversation earlier in the week where we encouraged them to find these grants, and we will work with them to affect fuel breaks on our facilities.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yes, please keep up the good work.
Okay, we will move on to,
I'd like to make a comment on this.
go ahead.
I was very favorably impressed by this explanation of the capabilities and of the Alpine Timber LLC by Mr. Hickey. It was very clear, concise, and could well serve as a template for other people that are trying to prove themselves to the district. I would have voted for them just on the basis of their presentation here. Good job. Tell them I said so.
They're listening.
All right. All right, we voted, right? Okay, 4C, discussion and action to award Ebbetts Pass Water System Master Plan and Hydraulic Model. Kevin?
Good afternoon, directors. So first I want to kind of talk about why we need this Ebbetts Pass Master Plan and Hydraulic Models. The Ebbetts Pass water system is our largest system. We have over 6,000 connections. Comprehensive master plan effort hasn't been completed for 20 years, since 2005. There's a small update done in 2013. Since then, the district invested in new infrastructure that changes the way the system's operated. We have new transmission line, Reach 3, Reach 1, new larger tanks. We've eliminated some water tanks that are in the system, that were in the system. We've had changes in the pressure zones, treatment plant improvements, new services, including the Flying Acres, Blue Lake Springs, and Snowshoe Springs that weren't part of the previous master plans. And now we also have a better data from our AMI metering system. So many of the homes in the Ebbetts Pass area are second homes, and the consumption trends are difficult to approximate without the reliability information that we're getting from the new AMI meters. So the existing hydraulic model is outdated. It has flaws and it can't be relied on. So we had some difficulty when we were trying to do the water age modeling for the disinfection byproduct study. So we kind of demonstration of how outdated it is. So a better understanding of flow capacity of the system. The standards have changed on fire flow since the previous master plans. There's a lot of variabilities that go into determining fire flow, storage capacity, the pumping capacities. So they can all affect that. And also the system needs to be optimized. The pumping, cycling, the tank size, how much water you're storing in the tank to make sure we have good wholesome water. As water is concerned up in Ebbetts Pass communities, as a lot of the residents are part-time residents, and there's periods of low consumption. So the larger Highway 4 corridor has limited access to secondary emergency water supplies. The City of Angels and UPED and others. So we need a better understanding of how our water system could be provided to provide supply to these other water systems in the event of a major disaster or emergency. So this master plan will help us prioritize the capital improvement projects going forward in the future and kind of provide a roadmap on the most efficient way to make these necessary improvements. It'll also analyze the rates and how they apply to the capital improvements. So they'll use the estimates to kind of give us projections on the cost going forward. So the district got 5 proposals from all very well qualified consultants. They were evaluated on the understanding and approach, the project management, the project team, and staff qualifications, related project experience, and their schedule and production capacities. So after evaluation, hydroscience engineers was the highest ranked score. Their listing of relevant projects was very impressive. The team has worked in the design of several of the district's water treatment plant projects, and we're generally happy with their work effort, and they're very responsive to our requests. Hydroscience also specializes in water quality and hydraulic modeling. And they have numerous projects where they utilize the water gen, which is the same water modeling software that we're gonna be using. And they include a sub-consultant that specializes in financials analysis, and we thought that was a great addition to the proposal that other people didn't have. Their proposal was also cost-effective for the work to be completed, compared to some of the other prices we received. And this work effort will extend into next fiscal year. So, after the review of the proposals, the staff is recommending that we award the contracts for the, hydraulic model and master planning effort for the Ebbetts staff. The price is, $239,651.
Okay, Director, can I get a motion?
Yeah.
We'll have it right after I get a motion.
You may not get a motion.
I think I will.
Yeah.
Will you make a motion, please? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Director Adams?
Okay, you indicated in your discussion that it looks like there was 3 people that responded to the request for a proposal, but you indicated there was 5.
Yeah, there was 5. We just put the 3 highest.
And then you got the 3 highest scores on here. What is the pricing for, and this obviously wasn't
I think
based
the
on low
second
bid
place
or,
person was at $400,000.
okay, so there was one at 400,000, this one's at 239, the other 3.
The ones were around 250,000 to 300,000.
Was this one that was scored the best? Was it also the least expensive?
There was one that I think the third place proposal was slightly less than this, it was about the same. I think it was like 230,000. They have a little bit more to offer than the proposal, so
Right.
these are all kind of time and materials type of work effort, so they're based on the hours that they're gonna provide. So some people had, their work effort may have had more hours in it because they were gonna go deeper into one specific area within the master planning effort. So the cost is really based on what the hours that they're proposing, and maybe they do more desktop work and not as much field work. There's a trade-off with the prices.
Okay.
All right, is there any discussion by the board?
I just have a question. Don't you usually list who sent in a proposal with the dollar amount?
We can, but yeah, I mean, we can, I can.
Haven't you done that in the
It's
past, though, or?
They're, the dollar amount's kind of not secondary, but we look at the quality of the proposal first of all, and then if it's within our budget, that's what we look at. It's not low bid scenario like we would have on a construction project.
Okay.
No, and I'd appreciate it, and just for complete transparency, to have those dollar figures listed in the staff write-up, that would be, I mean, it's not, I understand it's not integral to the decision-making process, but it just would be, I think all
I'd
of us
like
feel a little more
to see it, but-
comfortable just with having it there. There's no reason not to include it. And we can easily explain why we didn't with the scoring system. And I agree with doing this. We also have the opportunity to adjust the scope as we proceed for the same reason you talked about, that we may be, it may seem obvious to everybody that we can point out that you have way too many hours in this, to one of them in this category, or you should have maybe a little bit more over here. Do we have an opportunity?
Yeah, it's all negotiable. I mean, we can, if we like one proposal, and they think that it's spec, they have way too many dollars in one area, we don't need that high work effort. We can go back to them and say, hey, can you adjust it? We spend less hours on this task.
Awesome.
And then, there might be, we've been working with the Highway 4U group, so there may be some kind of integration with what they're doing, some master planning effort at the same time as us. So we're kind of working this in unison.
Okay.
And so you said that it was 2013 that we, did a system evaluation. How long? Okay, it's going to depend on, population up in Ebbetts Pass to determine when you will look at this again, or how long will this last?
Well, it depends on, we've made a lot of changes up there with the system, so it's long overdue. But I would say that depending on if you have new developments in the area, if you're pretty much stagnant, I mean, you can probably go 10 years. But as long as there's no regulation changes or different things that would really require you to kind of investigate your system. But I think 10 years is our normal turnaround on the master plan.
This is not necessarily growth related at all. It's mainly operationally, right?
Yeah, operations, and we added, like I said, play, now we supply water to Blue Lake Springs. We didn't before. We supplied water to Snowshoe Springs. And we did a little bit before with them.
Right.
Before. So there's some added connections that we've had over the years.
Anything else from the board?
Yeah, I just want to make or have a question for Kevin. The, on page, or the page isn't listed, but it's task 9, the rate evaluation. So they create a financial plan for a 10-year study period. So that's a very significant thing to me, that if these are dependable numbers that we can use in the next rate study, did other presenters include the rate study component?
That was one of the requests in the RFP, was to provide a rate study, but they did a more thorough job than the other proposers. They brought us up consultant specialized in that stuff.
Yeah.
We're doing a similar thing with Lock and Tenor right now. We're doing a small update to our master plan that's kind of adjusting the dollar figures based on the projects that are under design right now. Yeah, this would be really valuable, just understanding it when we come to the next rate cycle.
Okay, that's good.
All right. Anything else from the board? Public discussion?
Sorry. Meeting my attorney, decided to be meeting somebody. I do. I'm always really surprised, even in these hard economic times with they cut backs but also raise rates as well, that the organization is able to expand into these smaller areas and take care of people, make sure that they're covered. I think that's very important for the definitely members of the community, as you are as well. So I want to thank
Kevin.
Yeah, the group as a whole, we've been working with that. It's not so much, we're not trying to spend any money that our ratepayers really on other people, working together to kind of, understand what we're capable of supplying. I think support just, it's not much for them, but just for us to do.
exactly. It's being part of the community and being responsible for the community. And so, my thanks go out to them. My thanks go to you. Rebecca Hitchcock, my thanks go to you. I can't eat anything anymore, so, but it looks wonderful. Michael's not here today. Mr. Maker's not here today. But all in all, I think everybody's doing a fantastic job in the organization. Dan, I can have a talk with them after the meeting, but next week, when we get on to this next item, I'm going to reiterate some of the things that I just said, but I'm going to be very emphatic. I think it's one of the best organizations that I've seen in a long time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Anybody online? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Director Cicada,
Yes.
Director Thomas,
Yes.
Director Ratterman,
Yes.
Director Underhill,
Yes.
President Davidson.
Yes. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, we're going to move on now to 4D, review of fiscal year 24-25 District 5-year capital improvement program. Kevin, once again.
So, every year we review and amend the capital improvement program before preparing the annual budget. So there's no motion on this item, but we want to discuss the input that we need before it goes to the budget. That's what the intention of this item is. So first of all, we're going to start out at the engineering committee. It was requested that we do a historical look back at projects. This presentation was previously given to the engineering committee a few months back. We're going to go through and highlight some of the completed projects that we've had over the 10, some extend a little bit past 10 years. But these are all construction projects. Some are not specifically CIP projects, but they're all construction projects that districts done. So here's right here is where of our service areas, but we're pretty well spread out throughout the county. So it's a challenge with all the different facilities we have. You know, it takes a lot of work to keep these up and functioning. So we're taking a look back over the 10 years of Calvert County Water City Capital Improvement Program and the construction projects through the meticulous planning, strong financial support, innovative strategies. This program ensures reliable delivery of safe drinking water and efficient wastewater treatment plants. That's the picture of a guy there with one of the broken pipes, and then
That was on Highway 4 in Ebbetts Pass.
yeah, that's been replaced in pipeline. So kind of like there's this graph in your packet that it's part of the board packet, but we updated the last slide because we didn't have all the costs in from the last fiscal year. So you can see that the trend is going steeply up. The blue is the construction cost and the total budget. And then this is pretty amazing here, the percentage of budget, construction budget. So these last couple of years, I think been climbing up very steeply. It'll probably go down a little bit this year because some of our projects are coming to an end. This project construction cost generally during the middle of the project was the highest. So we had 2 projects that were kind of at the peak of their construction phase during last year. So it'll probably go down a little bit, and then probably next fiscal year we'll be back up.
Well, it's interesting to look at this, and I mean, of course, the trend is positive, but a lot of that trend is due to rising construction costs.
Yeah, and this is not all grant, this is a lot of grant funded projects too. We had some massive grant funded projects over this last period. So it's not ratepayers funds that are driving this cost, it's we get a lot of grants. So kind of through the 10, 11-year period, we spent $68 million on construction projects. It's a pretty staggering figure for a water district of our size. And 35% of its operating budget over that period of time, and recently been a lot higher.
I'd love to know where that ranks statewide, or at least for agencies of our size. I think that's got to rate near the top. I can't imagine.
Yeah, there was, I think, a lot of deferred maintenance, not deferred maintenance, but stuff that was pushed down the road, and it's getting to we're getting to that period of the age of our infrastructure where stuff needs to be replaced and rebuilt. So we got the list of projects here. So these are water projects. So there's a big list. The three areas here. We have West Point, Copper Cove, Jay Lynn. So we talked about all these projects in the past, but so.
Kevin,
We don't need to mention.
at the previous one where it says 68 million in construction expenditures, can you at the next meeting tell us how much of that was grants?
Yeah.
That might be kind of cool. to see
Yeah,
how
grant
we're doing
and
that.
long-term loans. And that.
Sure. I mean, if you can.
Yeah, we have that spreadsheet, I think. So I don't have it for me right now, but yeah, we can bring that up in the next meeting.
Thank you.
So yeah, so here's the list of stuff. We got lots of projects spread out throughout our areas. You know, the West Point is the DAX, so we get a lot of grant funding in that area and stuff, so.
And on these listed, all these listed, some of them are finished, some are not, correct?
All these are finished.
All these are
well-
finished. It says to current.
Jalen, their number 2, it finished last week, so I mean, there's some that are like, kind of, some are ongoing. The Jalen A to B is on there and it's just happening done. Well, and then Ebbetts Pass, we already kind of talked about some improvements on the Ebbetts Pass, but there's a lot of stuff that's happened up there and a lot of needs to get captured in these master plans. So there's just a lot of stuff that, and then we got to prioritize this going forward because there's still a lot of work to be done up there, a lot of our infrastructure and, you know, where we got the sawmill tank and the clear well and different projects that we'll talk about our CIP. And then other projects we have, a lot of these are, we got the AMI, all the new meters and network. So yeah, the district courtyard was included in this. It's not necessarily CIP. Sewer projects, we had a lot going on about CO, wastewater treatment improvements, Forest Meadows, we had new UVs that just put in the last year. West Point Willseyville, we had to completely redid the whole consolidation to improvements to the West Point project. And then Arnold, we have the wastewater treatment plant improvements, which is designed, and we're very, very close to funding that project. Some of these are ones that are not in construction yet.
Kevin, the picture on the lower right, that looks like gray PVC. Is that electrical piping?
Yeah, that was electrical. I think that's from the West Point project where they, yeah, I believe that's West Point. They had all the conduits going different directions. So there's a lot of our work has, I mean, a lot of our project electrical is one of the main tasks in the project. So it'd be really nice to have like a inside electrical engineer someday, but we'll.
That's a very interesting photograph.
It's a lot to it. For not being very.
All right, let's get through this and move on.
I just think about
Member selection process.
Okay, Lock and Tenant, Wallace, we skipped over those, but like Copper Cove, so there's a fiberglass wet well and some other wet wells and stuff. Sewer. And then it's left, okay, so now we got through the historical. Does anybody have any like questions on that?
I just want to say I really like this presentation. It's really nice.
Okay.
I had asked him to do that just because when we're gonna be talking about here shortly is what we're gonna do in the future.
Right.
And I just want to make it clear that we haven't been not accomplishing things. We've been
Right.
working very hard.
Wait, we haven't been not accomplishing?
Whatever.
You know what he's
We've
trying
been
to say.
accomplishing
We've been-
that.
Yeah,
There you go.
we've been working hard.
Kevin, can you go back? I want to ask about a photo on the first, on the water project, second page on the water project.
This is just a kind of abbreviated one.
Yeah.
You have.
That was it. You just passed the second
Ebbetts
page.
passed.
There you go. That in the top right corner. Where does
That's
what?
a footing for the tank. I think
Oh.
Victory's 8, so it's a ring wall footing,
Got it.
and then they filled it inside with gravel.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. So let's go forward with the review of the 5-year capital improvement plan.
Okay, so we previously talked about this in detail. The engineering committee went through every project. And I think that engineering committee was recommending that we bring it to the board. So kind of district staff is committed to systematically reinvesting into water and wastewater facilities. The things we look at is service, reliability, functionality, and to meet the new and stringent regulatory requirements. Not all the critical projects can be complete with the funds and resources. There's another list, much longer list that we have of projects that didn't make it and are really critical. And if they were to fail, we'd be in bad shape. But that's something we'll look at in the future. So there's different project funding types. So we have expansion funds. They can only be used in the service area, and which the connection fees were paid. The assessment districts, we don't have too much of that left right now, but we have some in Copper, but that's located in areas where assessments are collected. Grants, at least can only be used on a specific project normally that the grant's for. And then we have USDA grants and loans. These are really low interest rates on grants, and some are forgivable in the form of loans. And then we have the capital R&R, which is the renovate and replace existing facilities or pay the debt issuance to fund capital improvement projects. And then we have this another funding source that we're working on right now is in the rate study. There was a water loan in year 3, so that needs to be acted upon in order to fund the projects that we have coming to this next fiscal year. And then we have the sewer loan, number 2. So this was anticipated rate study also. But the USDA loan that we're getting for the Arnold wastewater treatment plant will fulfill that part of the rate study. So the upcoming fiscal year is funded, and then we're 3 years into the existing rate study and the approved 5-year rate schedule. So all the projects in the first 3 years of the CIP that we're presenting today are funded. After that, there's a few details like a few projects that aren't fully funded, like there's the Copper Cove sewer force main project upper to lower, and the Lake Tola intertidal water project are short funding. So these are this right here is the capital improvement for both capital improvement projects that's in your packet. And so I can go through the projects, or if you guys are familiar with them, we can just open it up to questions.
Does anybody have any specifics that they need a question about?
Has anything changed from this presentation you did since the engineering committee?
No.
Okay, because I was listening, so that was helpful.
So Kevin, the budget is highlighted in the column, it's highlighted in blue, correct, for the 24-25 water projects?
Yeah, that would be the upcoming year in blue.
Okay.
The water projects, we haven't gotten to the sewer yet. So I could kind of I'll just read through them, that way we kind of.
Well, you did say one thing about the USDA grant that we got in Ebbetts Pass would totally take the place of the proposed or the projected wastewater loan that we were thinking of getting in the rate study that we had proposed getting in the rate study. Now it's no longer necessary because we got a USDA loan and that
The USDA loan is,
it will cover the full amount that we anticipate borrowing.
Yeah, it'll cover the full amount and maybe a little more. It's low interest, 40-year loan, so it's a really good option compared to other loans.
Okay.
I'm curious, what kind of a staff do you have now?
We're short 2 people still, so
We're short 2 people.
we've been aggressively trying to recruit people. We went to a fair last week and look at send mailers out to every licensed engineer in the Tri-County area. There's a lot of stuff we're trying to do to recruit people, and we've been talking to pretty much everybody we know. So there's a few people that are interested. I think they're on the fence come here, but we definitely need more people, and if we don't, we're gonna have to rely heavily on consultants to manage the projects, and that comes at a premium.
Right, because your staff is you.
Juan, Sam, Haley, and Jared and Jason. So we're short two engineers. So basically half staff.
All right, are there any specifics in here that anyone would like to discuss? This is, all we're doing here today is acknowledging this, and this will go forward to complete our budget.
Yeah, and I can bring up the sewer one too if we're done with the water.
Go ahead.
So this is our sewer CIP. So the one in pink is the long containment BioLab, which is we got the revised 50% design. It's looking really good. I think the price, we've been trying to value engineering, so it might be coming down a little bit, but not substantial. And then the rest of the projects are kind of ongoing here. The West Point Wilseyville is going to finish up soon here. And then we got some new projects on the horizon, like the lift station in Arnold after the wastewater plant's done. There's a lot of work to be done on the sewer side. Sewer side doesn't have, there's not a lot of funds available, so we've tried to look at restricted funds that are only available for certain areas to see how we can maximize those funds. So we added some projects for Southward, and we added some projects in West Point, so we can keep, there's failing infrastructure. So we try to find any available funds we can have to improve our sewer system, because it struggles sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in Vallecito too, but it's difficult to, those are massive projects and they're expensive.
Yeah, that $15 million clarifier in La Quintana, where the pink or orange, whatever, is there a reason we can't make the guesstimates on those years? I mean, you said.
Oh, I had to guesstimate in there. I didn't take it on CIP because we can't fund it. There's no way. I mean,
Most likely it will be developer.
to developer
funded.
driven, yeah. So that'll be
Yeah.
And partly developer driven. We also have Huckleberry, which would probably take most of the developer money already. So there's, we're looking at, we're doing the INI study right now to try to see what we can squeak out of the capacity through that. And then we're trying to, we're doing revisiting the master plan. We're doing the cost estimates on that to see what the projected rates would be in capacity fee increases in that area, because the people that are coming in are need to pay for these projects, and there's a lot of people coming in right now. So we're trying to see what their fair share is to pay. So we're working on that to try to fund these projects.
Anything specific regarding the sewer schedule? All right, does a member of the public have any discussion or questions?
Thank you, Kevin. Great, good job on this presentation. Talking about failing systems, my hope is pretty darn good. Don't worry about me. Doing good. You know. So, West Point, if you look at that, was a pure well program. And you look a little further, you'll find out the stimulus money to pay for that. And one of the things that Cindy Sakata mentioned was, bring what was funded by grants back. And I think that's a very good idea, because a lot of this was funded by grants. And this grant, stimulus money, you had to work fast again. And it shows that the staff is on their toes, making sure that they look for every available dollar up there that we could have coming to us. And I tell people this all the time. If you're looking for something, if you're looking for, look for government programs before you spend that dollar. It's always important that we pay these taxes, we pay fees, and we get something back for it. And we're not on our own. We're a big community. All of us take care of each other. So, with that said, usually I'd open a statement like this by saying, board come and go, but I'm always here. But Jeff Davidson's here, but longer. So there we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carl.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bertha. Bertha is here. And she,
Oh, yeah, as an afterthought, thanks, Carl.
no, it wasn't afterthought. I was just thinking of Jeff's living magic.
Thanks.
So,
There you
yeah.
go.
None of us believe I have cancer now. So.
All right, well, we hope you feel better.
Now I feel better just now.
And I'd also like to say, having them printed like this, thank you. Because you could read them so much nicer. I appreciate that. Thank you for thinking
All right.
about me.
What? Mike, do you have a question or comment? Mike Rogers?
Yes, yeah, good afternoon. Mike Rogers at Valley Springs. Thank you, Kevin, for this overview. This is excellent. I just want to be clear that the total budgeted amounts shown on this report are the total amount exclusive of or regardless of the funding source. Am I correct in that? I think you indicated that.
Yeah,
I just
it's
want
all,
to be clear.
it includes grants and
So
all
got it.
construction projects, not just capital improvement.
It's not the net amount, it's the total amount of the project as budgeted or contracted.
It's, yeah, the money spent.
Okay. So on the lock antenna clarifier project, you indicated that, there's no funding for that project, or it will be funded by other sources. We've got about $700,000 budgeted or spent, whatever, in that particular line. What kind of work, what does that represent? Is that part of the consulting fees, or what are those? We didn't
And
have.
that's the budgeted cost for the design environmental. Is that what you're asking?
That's the
Yes.
design and the environmental cost So we have a project that we can actually put a real estimate on.
Yeah, so the idea is to have it shovel ready here, around the end of the fiscal year. It might trickle in next fiscal year a little bit because we've had some,
Okay, great.
cost changes that we try to.
Thanks for that clarification. And also, just in closing, I really agree with Cindy on this. This is a great presentation. Can we get a copy of this presentation posted on the website?
Oh, good.
It's already there. Yep.
It's already there. Great.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Anything else? No? All right. Okay, this is just, for advisement. We have a consensus on that item to use that as in our budgets.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everybody on the engineering staff that worked hard on that. I know it's a lot of work. And we appreciate you guys looking forward and using the money as well as we possibly can. And I know the whole board has that sentiment. Okay, is Michael with us? Okay, we're going to move on to the general manager report. Michael?
Good afternoon. Sorry I couldn't be there in person today. So I'll just give a brief general manager report. We're Kelly Gerkensmeyer, Andrew Renshaw, and I are down here in Sacramento at Aqua's State Legislative Symposium, but we also took this opportunity to meet with Senator Alvarado Gil's office this morning, and then also with our new assembly member. And I was finally able to confirm with him the pronunciation of his last name is Tongipa. And he is Tongan, so it makes it easy to remember. And he also shared with us his middle name, which has more letters than the Tongan alphabet, and I'm not even going to try. But very enthusiastic, young assembly member. He's 29. He played tight end for Fresno State in college, and he has that enthusiasm of a football player. I walked out of his office ready to tackle somebody. But it was a really positive meeting. He's a sharp guy. He's focused on a lot of the same issues that CCWD is in terms of legislative priorities. He is already active on hydropower issues and forest management issues, as well as property insurance issues. So a lot of overlap there already. So just really optimistic about our kind of evolving relationship with him. And both Senator Alvarado Gil and Assemblymember Tongipa signed letters of support for our federal appropriations requests, which Senator Alvarado Gil has done a couple years in a row now. And they both turned those around very quickly. Those appropriations requests come on pretty short notice. So very productive meetings overall. We have also had meetings in the last week with NCPA, with Modesto Irrigation District on both of our hydro projects. We're in relicensing on both of those, and productive meetings with those partner agencies on those projects. Also, Forest Service meeting with NCPA, our annual check-in on our Forest Service relationship on the North Fork project. And a lot going on that front, and the lack of resources for the Forest Service. So struggling to figure out how they're going to do everything they need to do, and whether there may be portions of the forest closed this year or not. We're kind of standing by and waiting to see on that front. Hopefully not. Let's see, I think I had a couple of other things, but I just wanted to make sure that highlight that that Forest Service relationship is really important for us on the North Fork project. So we'll bring some more information back to the board on that front. We're moving ahead with the Calaveras River watershed study with Stockton East and DWR. We're going to probably agendize a full item for the board to get the board fully briefed on that effort. I think it's an important effort. And we are, as our board knows, one of those unique or unusual agencies that, has headwaters, water resources, and overlies a critically overdrafted groundwater basin. And so that positions us to be able to contribute to that new state planning effort. So we'll be bringing that back to the board. And the property ad hoc committee met again. We've been making progress on that front. The 16 acres in San Andreas at the top of the hill there is now on the market. And so we're hoping to see some movement on that before too long. And we have some other updates that we'll be reporting back to the board on that front. And I failed to mention, in addition to our senator and our assembly member, City of Angels Camp Mayor Mike Chimente also signed a letter of support for our appropriations request for the Army Corps of Engineers. So I just want to also acknowledge Mayor Chimente and their support for our effort there. That's all I have for now.
All right. Any questions of Michael? Okay, thank you, Michael.
Yep.
Okay, board reports, information for the general manager report. Do you guys have any questions of Michael? Agenda stuff.
No question, Michael. That 16 acres, doesn't have CCWD water.
No.
Located, no,
It's in San Andreas,
it's in San Andreas, okay, so San Andreas.
CPUD.
CCWD.
If you know any sheep herders.
And will you take payments on them?
Good call. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. Dollar down.
And yes, we will take payments as long as it comes in the form of one large upfront lump sum.
Yeah.
Very good.
Brett and I were driving down the highway, I think yesterday, and I'm driving, not paying attention. All of a sudden he goes, "Hey, is that CCWD property for sale?" He saw the sign. So I thought, well, that was good because we were talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. I
See it or
haven't
not?
seen it, yeah.
I
All
haven't
right,
seen it.
anything else?
I haven't even looked. I drive by every day.
Anything else? Okay, board reports, information items, future agenda items. Bertha, are you still getting married?
Yes, I am. And it's only how many? 39 days.
Perfect. Okay, do you have any comments, future agenda items, anything? Okay, Director Adaman?
Yeah, I was at a conference last week, a pooling conference with the JPIA. And one of the largest things, one of the most common themes of the entire conference was AI and the use of AI in so many different tiny aspects of people's lives. Closed IA systems, open IA systems involving the internet, and just so many different ways, different ways to use it. It was I came home and put in Chat GPT. Well, I also found out that the free version of any of these AI are not worth even the time of using them. You got to pay the $20 a month to get some use out of it. But I had the cheap free version, and I just put in that I have these ingredients here in my house in my cupboard. What's a good thing for dinner? And it helped me with an awesome recipe. Put it together. I've also used it for traveling. Just ask it. I'm going to be in this place in this city for 4 days. Please give me give me something to do. Full itinerary, places to go, places to eat, places to have cocktails.
What is
Bands
it?
are playing.
It's an app?
It's a Chat GPT, an AI. You could just any AI app. I have 4 of them on my phone now. But anyway, that was kind of the theme. Ernie Avila from is the vice president of Aqua, is on our JPIA board. He serves for 2 years as vice president. And I also asked him, I said, we should be doing this more at, well, I told him, asked him before, but I made kind of a formal request that we have more content at Aqua on uses of water districts. In each position, a water district employees, large or small, different ways they can use it. I mean, you shouldn't be afraid of it taking your job, but if you're not using it, you should be afraid of someone else that knows how to use it coming along and taking your job. That is a huge theme across this is a nationwide conference. So there was guy from Wisconsin, 400 cities and counties in Wisconsin is a pooled program. Schools, 400 to 500 schools in the state of Washington have a pooled program. So they all bring, all those are the kind of people that are going to these to that conference. We have a conference next week. Director Davidson, our general manager, are going out to DC for a hydro conference. We'll also be meeting with our senator's office and going to the Pentagon, talking to the Army Corps. And tomorrow I have a JPIA meeting in Roseville for Finance Committee and Liability Committee. And then on Friday in Roseville, we have our executive committee meeting. That's all I got.
All right, Director Skinner.
I don't have anything.
Should I jump in there?
Yep. Oh, Director
Should-
Thomas.
What's your name?
Your turn is.
Okay. The only thing I want to make a comment on is last Thursday on the 20th, I attended a very packed presentation at the Copper Valley Lodge facility put on by a gentleman that has contained within that community a newsletter called the Copper Wire, which is kind of a clever name. But Kelly Gerkensmeyer was there as the featured presenter, and I just wish you all had been there because he really impressed everybody there just with the depth of knowledge and the way he presents CCWD in the most positive way. Really I was proud for him and proud to be there. So that's the only thing that I wanted to comment on. I'm done.
You brought up Kelly's name. I sit on the Calaveras County Historical Society board, and we have dinners once a month for at least, I think 10 of the months through the year. Our dinner this month, the topic is history of Calaveras County water. Kelly G will be the speaker. Someone else is going with him. I'm not quite sure who else from staff will be attending that. Someone else will be with him. Anyway, it's going to be here in San Andreas. If you're interested, it's going to be 25 minute interview with a presentation with dinner at the Met on Main Street in San Andreas. This is tomorrow night. I'll be in Roseville at 2 meetings and a dinner, and then we got meetings on Friday in Roseville too. I will not be able to make it as I'm a board member, and I secured the speaker, but I'm gonna miss it. If anyone else in the room would like to go, 5 o'clock. You should make reservations with the Historical Society at the museum here on Main Street is where you get your reservations that may have closed by now. But yeah, tomorrow night and Kelly will be giving a very similar presentation to what he gave in Copperopolis. Was that last week, Russ?
Yes, last Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, as far as I go, I will be traveling to DC next week. I believe our schedule is Monday to meet with our legislators, Senate, and Congressman McClintock. We have a visit in the Pentagon to discuss trying to allocate more money for the Copperopolis program. Also, we'll be meeting with FERC representatives, and then in between the two legislative days, our personal legislative days, we'll be attending the conference on hydro, which hopefully will help us as directors really understand the what's ahead of us, and hopefully we'll be able to bring that back and be a little more enlightened on the monumental task ahead of us. So I'm looking forward to that.
Jeff, is that conference to where people call in and
You know,
or anything?
I don't know. I had to talk to Michael about that, if it's an audio or not.
I'd like to hear that on the.
Yeah,
on the
I mean,
hydro.
it might be. Usually those conferences are at least recorded.
Listen to it after. the fact or
yeah.
something.
No, but it will probably be recorded on a YouTube or something like that, but if we get there and find out, I'll definitely make sure that.
I
think that'd be great.
doubt that you can attend virtually. They tried to do that at Aqua during the pandemic, and it's a mess.
Well, maybe.
This is a hydro nationwide conference, a little bit bigger than
Gotcha.
statewide, but I doubt that anyone's
Maybe
trying to
you
do
guys
that.
could.
Well, we'll let you know.
But they definitely would have them all recorded.
Okay. All right. So with that, we will adjourn into closed session. I lost my closed session page. No, I didn't. Okay, the next board meeting is April 9th, 2025. Closed session conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure. Is there any public comment on closed session? Okay, seeing none, we will adjourn into closed session. But it has to be about closed session.
Of course. You know, oftentimes we go into these closed sessions, and you won't know what's going on even before you hit the door. Because if you assume that. It would be nice if they were a little more open with the folks before you got in there and actually describe the person that might be bringing litigation against you instead of keeping it kind of in a fog at times.
When it's appropriate, we do that. In this case, it's probably not appropriate, or we would. Thank you. All right, we'll adjourn into closed session. Thank you.
Thank you.
David.